once again, I don't know if Cam was celebrating too long last night, Cody, or if he's just daggone late doing his Chris Collinsworth slide in here in just a couple of minutes. But once again, we have to bow to Cam because he was right and we were wrong. The Atlanta Hawks now lead the Philadelphia 76ers 3-2 in a best-of-7 series after they came back from down 26 points last night in just an absurd change of fortunes for the Atlanta Hawks. I mean, I don't know when Cam's going to pop in here, but I'm going to give credit where credit's due. He pretty much said everything that was going to happen last night happened.
Let's just give him credit while he's not here. So, yeah, good job, Cam. Yeah, great job.
And I know it took a lot of help from the 76ers and from Doc Rivers to get this done. But I'm going to give credit to the Hawks first and foremost. I know they outscored them 40-19. Was it Joel Embiid and Curry or Seth Curry were the only ones to register a bucket in the second half. But here's just some stats for you from ESPN.com. Philadelphia became the only team to lose back-to-back 18-point leads in playoff games in the past 25 seasons. The 22-point halftime deficit the Hawks overcame was the third largest halftime rally in NBA postseason history. The 76ers were 165-0 in the past 25 seasons when leading by at least 25 points at any point in the game, regular season or playoffs. And finally, my favorite, because I love a win probability, at one point, Philadelphia had a win probability of 99.7.
Lames. It makes me feel so much better for these wins. Like I said yesterday, a lot of people were pretty much on the board of Joel Embiid not being healthy, so it could really help out the team, I guess. And I really felt like in the second half, they had to put everything on their injured player, on Joel Embiid. They had to put everything on him. And since they had everybody else locked down, it's like BJ's been saying defense. In the second half, especially in the fourth quarter, that defense showed up. Joel Embiid couldn't carry the team for the whole time. Literally only scored 19 points in the fourth quarter while training them. We're draining 40 points, dude.
I'm not blaming Joel Embiid for this.
No, I'm not. No, that's what I'm saying. But they put it all on him. You know what I mean? Like he had no other help.
But I think the Hawks did what we were talking about at the beginning of the series when we saw this. Like, listen, you don't have anything for Joel Embiid.
Yeah,
you literally have nothing for him.
But lock down everybody else.
Like Clint Capella is going to go in there. He's going to bang with them, and he's not going to be able to stop them. But, if you can get a couple of turnovers, that's a win.
Yeah.
Because you have nobody on your roster that can stop Joel Embiid, right? So what does the strategy then become? For me, it becomes try to lock everyone else down. Because think about it. If Joel Embiid scores 70 points, that's only 70 points, right? You have to lock everybody else down. It's when Danny Green could get going, which I know he didn't play, but if Danny Green got going, Harris got going, Curry got going, that's when he started getting worried. And where you got real concerned is if Ben Simmons could go back to what Ben Simmons was a few years ago in the playoffs where he's put up 30-point games. That's when you really start to get worried about this series. But Ben Simmons has been a no-show in this series so far.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Right? Like if the strategy for the Hawks has become, if he drives to the hoop, foul him. He can't hit free throws. Foul him. And Embiid, kind of the same thing, right? Embiid missed 2 crucial free throws down the stretch, right? And so what happens? Hawks come back from 26 points down. As you mentioned, outscore them 40-19 in the fourth quarter. It's
in the coaching. Hey, McMillan. Hey, man. Way to rally.
Nate Dogg.
Way to rally the troops and get it going. Like, dude, old boy was commanding out there last night,
too. It's different body language, right? We're joined in studio once again by Southern Brit, but it's body language. I don't know, like watching the game last night, the 76ers looked like they have all the pressure in the world on them in front of their home crowd. To me, it looked like the Hawks were just out there saying, we're here to bust up your brackets.
Oh, for sure. And if you look at social media, everyone's about the hype because no one believed in them, including us.
Including me.
Yeah, including myself. I was like, I don't believe in these guys. They can't do it. But their whole mantra is believe Atlanta. Everyone's like, okay, we see you out there. We're actually turning things around. And they have my respect.
I will give Robbie Ross, a good friend of ours, credit. He put
out
that. He put out the tweet that I identified with most last night, where he said everyone's celebrating, but this really just feels like the Atlanta curse coming around and just like setting us up. It's like you think the Atlanta curse would be you win the first round and then you just get blown out and swept out. No. The Atlanta curse is going to set you up with a 3-2 lead.
For sure.
And have you lose in
it's
7.
not. No, it's not done yet. The Atlanta curse is you win this series, go to the Eastern Conference Finals, get up 3, and then lose 4 in a row.
Like-
You just
and
gave
then
me
you're out.
anxiety when you said the
Yeah.
Atlanta
Yeah,
curse.
like when
Yeah.
so what the prediction now is that like Kyrie and James Harden will be out for the first 3 games.
Yep,
of
and
the
then they're going
Eastern
to come
Conference
back and
Finals,
roar.
But
Yep.
then all 3 of them come back and it's just
Yep.
clean sweep from then on out.
That is probably one of the most accurate depictions of Atlanta sports that we've had.
Georgia
in a
sports,
while.
But see, here's
period.
what I'll say. I'll counter that with this. I told this to Robbie. I'll counter that with this. I don't feel like it is so much that Georgia curse anymore because I feel like honestly at this point with the Hawks, you're playing with house money.
Oh yeah, if they
Like-
lose out and then get out, dude, successful season.
Much like I said with the Knicks.
Great
right?
season.
Going to the Knicks series, like it was a successful season, right?
Yes.
You wanted to win the series, but you didn't feel like you needed to win the series for it to be considered a successful season because perspective-wise, we forget how bad this team was under Lloyd Pierce at the beginning of the
Yeah.
season versus where it's flipped and become now with Nate McMillan, right? So the perception was you get into the playoffs, you play a competitive series, that's a win, right? That's a win. Well, now you beat the Knicks and you're like, okay, now you're playing with house money, right? All of a sudden you're up 3-2 on the 1 seed. Now I think it's fair to say,
They're playing in the farm.
yeah, game
Oh,
6, and
all
I think they're really pushing for those black MLK jerseys again.
No,
Uh,
they are wearing them. It's been
And
confirmed.
so, but I do think it's fair to say now, if you lose back-to-back games and lose this series in 7, I think it's fair to say that's a disappointment now. Like I think house money has to be relative to where you're at in the series because if you're up 3-2 and you're 1 game away, and you've looked at the percentages from the NBA when it comes to teams going up 3-2. That team typically wins the series. Right. So I think it's fair to say now, if you don't win this series, it's a disappointment in regards to this series, not the season as a whole.
Oh yeah, no,
Correct.
yeah,
Not the season as a
110%.
whole, though.
110%. The way they're playing right now and the way they're feeling right now. So if they do lose 2 in a row after this, it's going to be heartbreaking. It's going to be a failure of a series, of course, obviously because they lost the series after being up 3-2. But overall, the season they shouldn't be shameful. But if I'm Nate McMillan and stuff like that, being since we've seen him be a head coach, being as competitive as he is, you know that end of the year press conference, he's going to be like, it wasn't good enough. It wasn't good enough. We were up 3-2. We failed. Blah blah. I know it's exact reaction that we're going to get from him. But you're right. If they do not pull this off, they're going to be hanging their heads. They're going to be talking about it all during the offseason and maybe use the
Well,
fire.
if you want to like prognosticate out to what the offseason conversations would be, I think the Hawks would probably be the hottest team, maybe outside of the Suns, in the NBA coming out of these playoffs. Like that would be like the team whose stock rose the most during the playoffs. I don't think anybody anywhere in media would be criticizing the Hawks if their season came to an end after this round. Like
not at all.
So like you said, like hanging your head. I don't think the Hawks, no matter what happens in this playoffs, I don't think they have any reason to hang their heads. That being said, come on, fellas. You're coming back to State Farm with a 1-game lead. You need 1 game to clinch it up. And again, I think you have to rock with that house money mentality because I think that's what's gotten you to where you are is they're playing with all the pressure on them. Joel Embiid feels like he has to score every time down the court. If you can play free and loose, I think that's where this team's really good.
As long as they did what they did, just trap up everybody else, let Joel Embiid do whatever he wants. Let him do whatever he wants. Dude, just like you're saying, let him drop 60, but let his homeboy only drop 5. You know what I mean? Like that's exactly what they're doing. They're like, okay, we can't stop him, but if we just put everybody on everybody else, then we can stop them.
Yeah.
If they continue to do that, and dude,
Focus on shutting down Curry. Focus on shutting down Harris. Don't let Simmons get going.
yeah,
And I think you're good.
and
I think
keep the assist up for freaking Trey. Trey is a freaking NFL passer.
What was it,
son.
7 assists last night? See, last night he just showed you in back-to-back games what he can do, right?
Yep.
If he's not scoring, he can throw out 18 assists. If he is scoring, he can put up 39 points.
Yep.
Right. So that's where he shows you how good and I think who was it that said it after the game? Lou Williams said after the game, he said he's a superstar.
Oh yeah, he is. Yeah,
Like after this playoffs and what like the national stage, I think Trae Young's only played on like the national stage on television once in his career, just because the Hawks have been so bad. They haven't been on the TNT or ABC primetime games. Before the playoffs, he only played on primetime once in his career. Like,
Wait, Did he play for Oklahoma?
Well, when I'm talking about his college.
No,
career,
I'm just
but yes,
saying, like,
but
even
yes,
he
played for
didn't wasn't
Oklahoma.
really on the big
Oh
time.
no, he was.
there
No,
either.
I would say he was on national TV more at Oklahoma than he ever was
Really?
with the Hawks prior to this
Okay.
postseason.
Okay.
Like he's the country in the world finally getting to see what we've been seeing for the past couple of years, which is dude's nasty.
Yeah.
Like he's nasty. Do I still think you are a superstar away from like truly being a contender? Yes. Would I be shocked at all if the 76ers came out and won these next 2 games by 15, 20 points each? No. But it is exciting, right? You do have a team that has some grit to them, has some heart. They seem very well coached.
I want to go around the room and get from all you guys. Is he a top 10 player in the league?
No. No.
Okay.
No.
I think he's a top 15.
Like I'll no, I think Trae Young is very good. Is he a top 10 player in the league right now? No.
I think he's about 15. I think I put him about like 14.
Like he's not the best player in the series.
I'd put him at 15. I
Yeah.
agree with you.
Or around there. But
It
there
was his
are
playoff career high.
I have
last
I
night.
have heard on Twitter everybody was going off. Of course, his after a win, all that stuff. They're like, he is a top 10 player, and I was like, I'd say top 15, but I don't know if I'd do top 10. But a lot of people are on Twitter right now, like, hey, dude, this guy's a top 10 player
Listen,
right now. I'm like,
I don't want to
like,
do the BJ,
kind of
which
pump the
is like
brakes.
someone has a good postseason. I'll say he's had a great
Yeah.
postseason. He's had a great postseason, right? I don't want to do the BJ where somebody has a great postseason. All of a sudden, we're putting him on Mount Rushmore.
Yes.
Like, because that's kind of what I feel like we're doing right now. Like, is he better than Damian Lillard?
No.
No. Right. So, like, and Damian Lillard to me is one of those guys where you're looking at like 6 through 8 in the league. So, like, if we're like immediately saying no, then I'm not even having the conversation about
Yeah.
Trae Young at 10. I think Trae Young's a very good player. I think he's a very young player. I think he has potential to be one of those players. Right now, no. Is he having a great playoff series? Absolutely.
Also, what's really annoying me is people are still comparing the Luka thing.
No,
To
I
him.
think
Stop.
this is kind of squashed that.
Yeah, and
They
well, that's
should.
what they're saying because they're like, "Oh, he's still further in the playoffs." I'm like, "Dude, Luka's still a great player."
I think it's one of those trades where both teams
one.
came out on top.
Yeah, they both
For
won.
sure.
Yeah. So, but after every win, after every loss, on Twitter, it's rampant with that stuff with
Well,
Luka.
maybe-
Was Luka good at
maybe
that? And then
teams-
once they win, they're like, "Oh, it was a great deal that we didn't get Luka." Something like that.
Maybe both
I don't
teams
know.
wins. And I really don't want to do like trending Twitter radio.
Oh, no, I'm just
like,
saying,
we
yeah.
read off whatever
Right.
there's trending on Twitter. But I do think it's fair to say this. Luka Doncic's already coming out saying he's not happy in Dallas,
I know.
and I haven't heard bleep from Trae Young about it. So, I mean, if you want to talk about maybe who won the trade there is that. But again, I try to be cautious with the whole let's ride the hype train, let's sound the horns, play the John Cena music. We're going to the Eastern Conference Finals. Nets, we coming. It was a great win last night. It
Oh,
was a
you're already
great
assuming the
comeback.
Nets are going to win.
It's amazing to be a Georgia sports fan and be on the other side of one of those. It really is. I can't remember the last time you were because it's been a minute since you were on the other side of one of those. So it felt good last night. Let's get to the Eastern Conference Finals. You're one win away from doing that. We got more to come here, though, on Second Down. We'll dive into the Braves a little bit. Sorry, got to do it. Just another rough outing for the Braves last night. Now have just a horrible record against the AL East. We'll talk about that when we come back. Also have some college football to dive into as well. Christian Gokel alongside Cody Queen and Southern Brit here on ESPN Radio. We'll be right back after this. Second Down on ESPN Radio is presented to you by the Uniform Source. Glad you're hanging out with us on this Thursday afternoon. We got a big show coming up on 3 and Out at 3:30. We will catch up with former Georgia linebacker, All-American, Georgia-Florida Hall of Famer Rennie Curran. Going to swing by the show. He's going to talk some name, image, and likeness with us. And we have some questions for him about the 12-team playoff. You think the 2007 Georgia football team, which he was a member of, would have won if they had a 12-team playoff back in 2007? I mean, I think that's redshirt freshman Noshawn Moreno, Matt Stafford, Mahomet Massaquoi. Southern, you had a family member
I was
on that
about to
team.
say, hey, don't forget my brother,
Yeah,
DeMarcus Dobbs, number 58,
That's
right there.
DeMarcus Dobbs on the D-line. Who was it? Fernando Velasco on the offensive line there. Yeah, so just a stout team. Marcus Howard on that defense as well. I think that 2007 Georgia team probably would have made some noise in a 12-team playoff. That's the team that handed it to Colt Brennan, the legend, rest in peace. But I mean that Hawaii team came in all hot, and then they ran into someone named Marcus Howard.
Smoke them.
Yeah, that was a fun Sugar Bowl, and really the first year of the black jerseys there too for Georgia. So we'll catch up with Rennie Curran and talk about that. But I do want to talk some college football here, because I think lost in last year in 2020 was the fact that a group of guys had to come in, and obviously everyone had to adjust. But I think do something more difficult than anyone else in college football did last year, and that was the first-year head coaches. Right? We forget about it because it's been so long, but Lane Kiffin, Mike Leach coming in as first-year head coaches back in 2020. You have Sam Pittman, Eli Drinkwitz. Sam Pittman at Arkansas, what he was able to do in year one was unbelievable, right? In the ACC, Jeff Hafley getting a winning record with Boston College in year one in 2020 was unbelievable. Mike Norvell inheriting a mess down at Florida State. And then Sean Clark, what he was able to do at App State. Just a ton of new faces around college football last year, but would not wish that on my biggest enemy, right? Having to come in, take over a program during the middle of a pandemic, not sure if you're even going to be able to play football last year. And I think for the most part across the board, right, I can't think of anyone who you'd say did a bad job in year one, right? Sam Pittman, with Felipe Franks bringing him in as a grad transfer, I thought what he was able to do was really good at Arkansas.
Oh, we were on Arkansas last year.
He has them on an uptick. I mean, game one last year, they gave Georgia everything they wanted through like 2.5 quarters, right? Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss, he finally found his guy 2 or 3 because it was rotating back and forth with Matt Corral at quarterback, but they finally got in sync, and then you saw that offense can do. Scored, 48 points on Alabama.
Oh yeah, ridiculous
Maybe
amount.
more than that. I know they gave up 63 to Alabama, but you scored 48 on the Tide and gave Nick Saban a headache like Ole Miss usually does. Eli Drinkwitz at Mizzou. Mike Leach, how about his first game at Mississippi State? Upsetting LSU in Death Valley, right? Setting all kinds of records on that defense. And then as I mentioned about Jeff Hafley, a winning record at Boston College in year one in the ACC. That's a hell of a job by him. But what I want to talk about is I think there's a couple guys on this list. I'll say 3 really who are poised to take a big step forward in year 2. And the first guy on that list to me is Sam Pittman.
Oh yeah.
I was about to guess Sam Pittman.
I think what he was able, number one, there's some guys that just fit well with different teams, right? Like Coach O makes sense, LSU, baby. Kirby Smart, Georgia guy, back at Georgia, makes sense. Sam Pittman with Brett Bielema was the offensive line coach at Arkansas.
Oh yeah.
Comes back, but he just kind of fits what I think Arkansas wants to be, right? They want to be smash mouth, in your face football, but at the same time, we're Arkansas, baby. Pick Suey.
Calling the Hogs, baby. He is one of them.
And we're not too far removed from Arkansas being really good, right? Like with Ryan Mallett at quarterback, we're not too far removed from Arkansas being really good. I mean, maybe, getting close to a decade now, but look who it is. Look who has slid into the screen.
The text I got was alarm didn't go off. My bad.
Here you go. At 2:30 in the afternoon.
I was asleep, guys.
Here on second down. We'll get to Cam in a second, but I think Sam Pittman absolutely is in a position to take a big step. But the one I think you need to watch out for is Mike Leach. Because look at Mike Leach teams, Texas Tech, Washington State, now at Mississippi State. Look at Mike Leach teams in year 2. Huge jump. And then when you talk about not having really an offseason for him to install his offense, now you think he has his quarterback there in Myers. He's got some good wide receivers. I think the defense took a step forward as you got towards the end of the year. They held Georgia to less than 1 yard a carry when they played Georgia with like a 50-man travel roster because of COVID and opt-outs. So I would say watch out for Mississippi State coming up in 2021 as well. So I think Mike Leach probably on that list, Southern, the coach to watch out for taking that next step.
Oh, for sure. And just like you said, not enough people are talking about what these coaches did last year. And if Leach can do what they did last year, take that mentality into this new year with all of the upsides with the post-COVID season, hopefully having 100% capacity, hopefully, and being able to train up these guys. I mean, what they can do a lot of things with that, and I'm really excited to see
Well, and
that.
just looking at Arkansas' schedule, right? They start with Rice, so you would hope that's a win, and they play 3 straight home games. How about the next 2 home games for Arkansas? They host Texas, which Steve Sarkisian, now the head man out at Texas for the Longhorns. Then they host the Georgia Southern Eagles, which I've talked with some of our friends up in Arkansas, ESPN affiliate up there, and we've kind of gone back and forth because I don't think you were with us yet, Southern, but when he came on, Josh Bertaccini from up in Arkansas came on with us. He's like, yeah, we got a lot of respect for Georgia Southern. They're a very good FCS program.
Oh, yeah. How dare him?
I'm upset.
Yeah.
I'm upset.
That kind of got
I'm
some
upset.
people riled. They're like, my man, we've been in the Sun Belt for a while now. But that's kind of how they're looking at Georgia
We
Southern,
stood
right?
out in the Sun Belt for a while now.
But I think Arkansas has a very good chance, and people are going to call me crazy here, starting 3-0.
Oh, for sure.
Because I think they can beat Rice, and I don't know how good Texas is. I mean, be honest about Texas. They've been a middling Big 12 team for the past few years.
I actually saw a post, the most disappointing team 2010 to 2020, and everybody was like Texas.
Texas.
Yeah, Texas.
I think
I was like,
that's
yeah, I agree
absolutely
with
fair.
that. Yeah.
Yes, you have your own TV network.
Yeah, dude.
and you're
Like,
just kind of okay. Right. And Steve Sarkisian, I think he will do a good job at Texas, but I don't think they're there yet. How crazy do you think Razorback Stadium is going to be when Texas comes rolling into town? Because I think it's going to be nuts. And I think Arkansas is good. I think they have a really solid offensive line that's just going to get better. I think their defense has some dudes on it that are going to play on Sundays. And you just got to kind of wait to see what that quarterback position is going to look like. I mean, you're going to need one of those guys to step up. But I think when Texas comes to town, I think that's a coin flip game. And I think Arkansas is going to be a lot better than people think. But then you get past that, this is when you get really into the meat of your schedule. Arkansas goes Texas A&M, and I think that's a neutral site game in Arlington, right? They go Texas A&M, and they go to Georgia, and then they go to Ole Miss. You could easily start, I don't say easily, but there's a very good chance you could start 3-0 and then 3 weeks later be 3-3.
Yeah, real quick. I don't know, man. I think the Ole Miss game will be a lot closer. I think Arkansas is going to be better than what you think, dude. I think it's going to be fun.
I think it'll be close, but I think Matt Corral, like I told you, he's my preseason pick for
animal.
the all-SEC quarterback.
Yeah,
and
animal.
I think he'll probably be in New York at the end of the season.
Wow, hot take.
Ceremony. So I get a lot of it comes down to how good your team is. But listen, Matt Corral can't play corner, man.
Yeah, it's true.
That Ole Miss defense is not good.
Not good.
So
Not good at all.
Take a step forward. I think Matt Corral will be there. But then immediately following Ole Miss, Arkansas has to play Auburn at home. And then you just
dude, that's the game I want to see.
You roll through the rest of your SEC schedule there, Mississippi State, at LSU, at Alabama, right? So, I mean, probably at least 5 losses on the schedule for Arkansas. But I think if Sam Pittman in year 2 can take Arkansas from what they were, where they hadn't won an SEC game in 2 years or 3 years prior to him arriving, if you can go 7-5 in year 2, I think that's huge.
So I'm thinking because I think Auburn's going to be down a little bit this year, and so they're going to be towards kind of ish the bottom / middle of the West, and Arkansas is going to be there too. So when they play, because obviously they're both in the West, like whoever wins that, you know what I mean? I think that's going to be a great game this year. I think it's going to be a very underrated game this year because everybody always overlooks Arkansas. Dude, I think they're not going to be top 3 in the West or anything like that, but that middle of the pack that they're fighting off with like Auburn and stuff like that, I think that's going to be a great game. I think it's going to be a fun game. And where's that played at?
Which one? Auburn?
Yeah.
That's at home for Arkansas. That's at Razorback Stadium.
Oh,
Now-
all right,
That'll be a good game
baby.
right there.
All right.
Now, that being said, I will say this. I think another guy where you could say, even if the record doesn't improve, you can still say the team probably got better would be Missouri, Eli Drinkwitz. I think he's done an admirable job. Admirable. But again, we don't know how much to judge him off of 2020. But
Yeah.
I do think Missouri takes the next step there. But I want to get back to Cam because he wasn't with us in the first segment. Cam, you've already said it once this week. Do you want to say it again? Hawks take down the 76ers.
I told you so.
Do you want to hit us with the you know what? I told you.
Yeah, I told you so. This is two times in a row. Make it 3 tomorrow. Because I told you Hawks is 6 the other day. So yeah,
I
two
don't
times in a
like
row.
these type of segments. Why do I don't like
I love it. I love it. Hawks is 6, man. I called it. They was down 26 last night, but valiant effort. I love it.
We didn't have you on earlier. What did you think about the only 2 scorers in the second half for the 76ers was Curry and Embiid?
Not shocked because, like I said yesterday, I'm not a fan of Ben Simmons. Never have been until he gets a jump shot. So I'm not shocked if it'll be like that in Game 6. I think he's mentally out the series. He's not going to come back and make a comeback in the series as far as making an impact. And once again, Trae Young, right now, him and Embiid neck and neck for the best players in the series right now. You can't tell who's the superstar, who's the better superstar right now. You can't tell who's the better superstar. You
All right,
can't.
Cam, I'm curious about your thoughts on this because we just had Coach Gene Clemens chimed in on Twitter. I'm with him. Cody and Southern both said that Trae Young is a top 15 player in the NBA. That's really hard for me to say right now. I think he's very good. I think he's very good. I don't think he's top 15.
I don't think he's top 15 either. That's hard. It's a lot. Paul George just had 37 last night. He's not top 15. That's hard. You got look how deep the 15 best players in the NBA is. Then you'll be like, he's not even top 5 in this position. Not yet. So, but Trae Young, he's on the way to being a superstar.
Okay.
He's not top 5 in this position though.
Okay.
Cam, tell me your thoughts on this though. Tell me your thoughts on this. Hawks win Game 6. They're going to the Eastern Conference Finals. Everybody, coast to coast, is probably going to predict a sweep, maybe that series over in 5. But if James Harden stays banged up, Kyrie Irving stays banged up, do you think the Hawks can hang with the Nets?
Absolutely, yeah. I know it sounds crazy, but we watched Brooklyn win the other night. That was Milwaukee having a breakdown more than Brooklyn winning that game. And Jeff Green shot like 7-7 from the 3. That's never going to happen again. So it could go probably 6 or 7, but they have a really good chance. And this is the biggest series in Hawks history right here. This is the biggest series they've played. If they win
Hawks
it. So,
history?
think about it. Yeah, this is the biggest win in the Hawks history.
Not Dominique in the Hawks in 88?
When did he ever win? He couldn't get past MJ. So,
Well, I mean, it's damn Michael Jordan, man. That's like,
yeah. I just said the biggest win in Hawks history, and this would be the biggest series win ever. 4th seed taking down the 1 seed. It's crazy how it sounds, but it's the truth, though.
5 seed.
Yeah.
5 seed. taking
Yeah, it's
down the
not
1
about to
seed.
say it
Oh,
is.
yeah, 5 seed. My bad. My
taking
bad.
down the 1
I didn't
seed.
even downplay them. 5 seed taking down the 1 seed, but they have a chance against Brooklyn if they stay crippled. They really
All right,
do.
There you go. Cam, thinking the Hawks can hang with the Nets. You still listen. Let's not get too far out in front of ourselves. Southern, your dad's a football coach, right? If you start asking him about an opponent before you're done with the other opponent, right? Flipping out, saying, "Look, we're focused on these guys right
Another
now."
Nick Saban, Maria Taylor type deal
Yeah,
right
it's
there.
like I'm not going to. So quit asking.
Quit
Right?
asking.
Yeah, absolutely there. But no, listen, I think we can prognosticate to the future. That's what we're here to do. We have some little fun. Look at that series, and how much fun would that be to see Atlanta going up against the super team that was created this offseason? Who would have predicted that before this season started? No one. There's probably someone, you'll see the tweet from SportsCenter where somebody's going to make $1 million because
Oh,
they
for
bet on the
sure.
Hawks at the beginning of the season in Vegas to do this, and like probably only spent like $10 to do it. But here we are. Hawks 1 game away from the Eastern Conference Final. We're going to take a quick break here. Got a little challenge for our intern and Cam when we come back because there's a little bit of a rivalry brewing on the show here. First time Southern was on, she just like stampeded through Cam when Cam was trying to say
Listen,
something.
I'm so sorry.
So we're gonna come back.
I didn't even notice.
Challenge between the two of them. Christian Gokel alongside Cody Queen, Cam Ursery, and Southern Brit here on ESPN Radio. We'll be right back after this. All right, as we mentioned at the end of the last segment, we have a brewing rivalry on this show. It's like it's almost to like Hawks Knicks level here.
Get on my boy, Britt.
Yeah, it's first appearance on the show. Southern just like railroaded Cam. Cam was trying to come on, make it take, and it is hard on to do it like on a Zoom, which isn't Zoom, but you know what I mean, a Zoom call where like we're in different spots. But I mean, Cam started talking, Southern just bam ran him over. There's a little bit of a brewing rivalry here, so I think the only way to settle that is through competition.
Wow.
Cody, do you want to compete as well?
Sure.
All right. And
Wait, what's the, I don't care what the game is.
I'll
Go
tell you in a
ahead.
I'm
second.
curious.
Yeah, I'll tell you in a second.
I have
I
no
love
idea.
I love quizzes. You guys know this. When I produce 3 and Out, there's usually quizzes on 3 and Out. We had a rousing edition of Name That Team yesterday.
Rousing, he
A
said.
rousing
Oh,
edition of Name That Team yesterday on 3 and Out. It was they asked me in the show meeting what it was about. I said football, and they're like, "All right, football." And they didn't know which football I was talking about. I was talking about football and
Oh, wow.
Football.
and the Euros. And so we did a little Name That Team with the Euros, and Kevin almost won,
I know, dude. I
which
was one reading it. I was like, wow.
which was nuts. But that being said, I love quizzes because I feel like the audience can play along in the car, right? And when you guys get this wrong, they just yell at you, which I love. And so we have a quiz. And the way it works here, Southern, is to answer, just say your name. If you want to buzz in, that's how you buzz in. Like, Southern, just say your name real quick.
All right.
Right? Say your name, which Cam might have an advantage here because he's got just Cam. It's quick.
I'll say Brit.
Queen.
Brit. All
is-
right, Brit.
Yep.
Queen.
And Cody's just going to go me.
Queen.
Me. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a little Georgia football quiz. Southern, as you may or may not know, is a cheerleader at the University of Georgia.
Go dog.
Cam, huge
Don't do
Georgia
that.
football fan. Cody is going to be along for comedic relief. All right, so let's start off with this. I need you to name one of the 2 coaches that were the head football coaches at Georgia between Vince Dooley and Mark Richt.
You say between Vince Dooley and Mark Richt.
Yeah, I like you doing the bin method where you talk it out even though you have no idea.
No idea.
Born yet.
What year were you born?
I was born. I don't know if I was conscious.
What year were you born?
1998.
You were alive when one of these coaches was the
I was
head football
alive.
coach at
All
Georgia.
right.
Oh, we're twins. Okay. 98, baby.
One of those that
We
college
have somebody here now.
1997 SEC Coach of the Year. We're just gonna go brr, brr on that one.
Yeah, I don't know.
Ray Goff and Jim Donnan
Dang, I was
were
going to
the
say that.
Yeah, would have not
football
got that.
coaches at the University of Georgia. Jim Donnan was the 1997, SEC Coach of the Year. All right, College Football Hall of Famer. All right, moving on. We'll get a little bit more recent. Who is Georgia's all-time winningest quarterback?
I was about to say
Cam.
Mark. Brit.
Britt, go ahead.
Is it Stafford?
Stafford ain't even close. Are we doing negative points here?
Go ahead. Do
Yeah,
it.
sure. Yeah.
All right,
Do
so we're
it.
doing. So she
I
said,
agree with that,
like,
yeah.
Cam, go ahead.
You said all-time winningest quarterback?
All-time winningest quarterback. Quarterback with the most wins.
Oh, snap. Jake Fromm.
Not even close.
Dang. Okay.
Cody?
I know who it is now.
Go ahead.
It's only one answer, Cody.
I'm going to end up messing this up. He's probably
Do you
he's
know
probably
another-
not even a
Do you know
quarterback.
another? Wait, do you know another Georgia quarterback besides Jake Fromm and Matt Stafford?
Aaron Murray?
No.
Yeah. That's what I was going to pick.
Was
up.
he a Georgia quarterback?
Aaron Murray was a Georgia
Look
quarterback.
at me. Look at me.
You guys better put some respect on my man David Green's name.
Oh, I was going to say that.
Oh, okay.
42 career
Wow.
wins.
Jeez.
I think when he,
So how many is Jake?
I'm
Jake
pretty
Fromm?
sure when he left school, he was the all-time winningest quarterback in NCAA Division
Wow.
I history, and he got overtaken by Kellen Moore
Oh, yeah.
from
yeah.
Boise State, who is now offensive coordinator, I think, for the Dallas Cowboys.
Cowboy.
Yeah.
Dallas Cowboys.
Yep.
All right, moving
How
on.
many, how many does Jake Fromm have?
I think he had like 35.
Oh, dang. Okay.
He
Wow.
won. He
Still
won.
quite a bit.
Jake
yeah.
Fromm won
Yeah.
33 regular season games because he went 11-1 all 3 of his regular seasons. Won 33 regular season games and then an SEC championship, a bowl game. I think he had 35.
Okay.
Nice.
If he would have stayed
Okay.
one more year.
Yeah, if he would
Maybe this would be a
a
different
lot of
conversation.
people said that if he had stayed one more year, he would have broken that record. All right. These 2 running backs, and Cody, if you don't get this one, I'm going to throw a pin at you. These 2 running backs are the NCAA's all-time leading rushing duo
Bat.
ever.
Cam.
Brit.
Cam.
Cody,
Cam.
Nick Chubb and Sony Michelle.
that is correct. I just want to let you know, again, just to put this out there. And the score currently 0, -1, -1.
Okay.
The leader right now is the guy who knows nothing about Georgia football.
Okay. He got to give me
Now.
question. It's all good.
This wide receiver is the only wide receiver in the history of the University of Georgia to tally more than 1,000 receiving yards in a single season.
I know.
Oh,
All these youths, everyone listening to the car knows this. I'm with you guys in the car.
my
I
gosh.
appreciate y'all. All these youths.
I know for a fact.
He's now
Here,
a really skilled trainer, and he's sending a lot of kids off to college.
Never mind.
He's good.
never mind. I was wrong.
No,
I'm gonna pass on this one.
the legend Terrence Edwards.
I was gonna say AJ Green. I'm glad I didn't.
Come on.
No, I knew it wasn't AJ Green.
All these
I knew
youths
it
here.
wasn't.
All right. Again, Cody is in the lead by not being in the negatives here. This former Georgia quarterback is the SEC's all-time leading passer.
Cam.
Cam, go ahead.
Aaron Murray.
Damn
Aaron
it!
Murray
Yes, you got.
is-
I
Oh.
knew that one. I knew that one.
He like looked at me when he said. It. I was like,
Southern. This is
He
unfortunate.
got excited.
Southern, this is unfortunate right now. Are you okay?
Listen, I'm too young for
like
this.
you go to UGA. Like,
There you go. This former All-American is Georgia's all-time leader in sacks.
Oh,
Cody,
Cody, go ahead.
Roquan Smith.
I'm so disappointed in you right now.
Dang
No.
it! All right, I know who it is now.
former All-American.
Multiple All-American.
Oh,
Beautiful,
Is
beautiful.
it?
dang it!
It can't be before. Is it before my time?
See, then I start thinking too much, and I'm like, well, I don't want to be wrong.
Nothing?
We're just watching highlights of him.
No.
Oh, never mind then.
Oh, you really don't know who I'm talking about, Cody?
As soon as you say, I'm gonna be
David
like,
Pollock.
God, oh yeah,
Oh
dude.
my
I got
gosh.
to touch that man one time. It was
Southern, I don't know
heavenly.
if you're allowed to go home after this.
Listen, I don't think I am either. I'm gonna camp out here.
I don't think you're allowed to go home after
I'm gonna
this.
start taking quizzes of myself.
All right,
I
Cam
missed two
currently-
legends.
That's a handsome
That's
dude.
a handsome man.
dude.
All
I
right.
missed two legends, Green and Pollock. Wow.
All right, this is our last one.
I like how every time they have him on air, they put up his old picture though.
Oh, yeah, like thick neck.
Oh
Thick
yeah.
Respect.
neck for David Pollock. All right, the last one. How many passes did Buck Belue complete in Georgia's national championship win over Notre Dame?
Cody.
Cody.
0.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was out anyway. Hey guys, it's not 0. I'll tell you that.
Anybody?
5.
That's
Britt.
incorrect.
Oh, I could take a chance now since everybody
Okay.
missed. 1.
1 is correct. He completed
Ah!
My man's
Pass.
a UGA genius.
The only pass Buck Belue had to complete that national championship was the toss sweep to Herschel Walker. All right, so there we go. Cam takes the crown. The rivalry exists. Cam won game 1 there. I'm sure we will have some more head-to-head. Maybe we'll let Cam decide. Because he won, we'll let him decide the criteria for the next quiz. Got to take a quick break, though. We'll come back. Final segment of Second Down next. Christian Gokel alongside Cody Queen and Cam Urshery here on Second Down. Glad y'all are hanging out with us. Got a funny guest going to be joining us coming up at 3:20. The very talented Wes Blankenship from Outsider.com. You may know him from the Shock and Ship podcast from Georgia Athletics, but you also may know him as the voice of the Coffee Town series on social media. We'll catch up with Wes Blankenship coming up at 3:20. Also, the aforementioned Rennie Curran, former Georgia All-American, going to join us at 3:35. Always love catching up with Rennie, but really interesting conversation ahead with him because we're going to talk to him about name, image, and likeness. And this is a reality that's going to be here in 2 weeks when July 1st rolls around. And I'm not saying that as like hyperbole, like it's going to be here because per reports, a couple of Georgia football athletes have already come to an agreement to have a brand apparel as soon as July 1st rolls around. Kicker Jack Podlesny and freshman quarterback Brock Vandegrift have Onward Reserve, I believe.
Onward Reserve.
Yeah, Onward Reserve.
Pod the Bod's going to get it? Oh.
Yeah, is the name of the apparel company. And per reports, again, they have an agreement come July 1st. They are going to sign contracts with that company and start getting paid for their likeness. So, I mean, this is a reality that's coming to us very fast. So we're going to catch up with Rennie Curran about that and just talk to him. I mean, again, I want to get his perspective. What does he think it would have been like in 2007 for him? We hear this a lot, and I know it's something Kevin said is like kids are going to come to the reality really quick that maybe they're not worth as much as they thought they were. But my thought is, I thought Ross Dellinger pointed this out when we talked to him earlier in the week. You may think that you don't know him because he's the third string right guard. You may not know him, but he also, Southern, may have a following of 40,000 people on Instagram because he designs shoes or he does something else.
Right.
And that's where he can make money.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, these kids are going to be chasing after that money. I think they're going to be chasing after play, money, brands, all of that stuff. So I'm interested what he says.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to catch up with Rennie Curran again. Rennie Curran, Wes Blankenship coming up in the first hour of 3 and Out. Also going to go into some interesting conversations around the first preseason All-American list that's come out from Walter Camp. Going to dive into that. Also, listen, yesterday was too much fun with Name That Team from the European Soccer Tournament. So we're going to go back into some more Name That Team, see if BJ can defend his title against Kevin and Ben this time. Hopefully Ben's internet stays with us today. So all that coming up next on 3 and Out. Christian Gokel alongside Cody Queen, Cam Urshery, and Southern Brit. If you missed any portion of the show, check it out on ESPNCoastal.com. We'll talk to you tomorrow.